Hey friends, welcome to another Wolverine live stream. I just wanted to pop on here and have a little bit of a discussion about the way that we hurt ourselves. So today, for instance, I have been so mean to myself. I have been saying things like, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I just don't like the way that I look, I don't like who I am, just like one of those days where I'm really tearing myself down as a person. And I was like, where is this coming from? What is this? And I realized that a big part of it is, it might be, it's getting close to my time or whatever of the month, but comparison, you know, I think it's the biggest weapon of mass destruction that we use against ourselves and each other. And I'm working on it myself, and it's got to stop because I have just been tearing myself down mercilessly all day today. It's been like ridiculous, redundant phrases that you repeat in your head, right? Like, I'm worthless, or I'm lazy because I'm sick, or, you think about, even as somebody with a chronic illness, comparing myself to who I used to be, before I got sick. And so when you measure yourself by the yardstick of a younger person, a lot of times you fall short, and that becomes like this really like a really high standard that you don't feel like you can live up to. So I just felt like I would pop on and just be open and vulnerable and start a discussion about this, because I know that we have all had those days when we, are just comparing ourselves to what or who, the girls in the magazines, or who were in high school, or, the cheerleader, or whoever it is that you're comparing yourself to, or whatever level of functioning you might compare yourself to if you're a person like me with a chronic illness. And I thought it would be really good to come on here when I'm feeling this way and really just kind of discuss it. Hi, Tammy. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, thank you. I'm not trying to sound conceited when I say this. I know that I'm a beautiful woman, but at the same time, don't we all do this thing where we just like tear ourselves down? It's like Jenga. You're like, which pieces can I miss without falling over? And I'm just now at 34 starting to become aware, when this is happening, that's what's happening. Like, why am I feeling so bad today? Well, I actually did pretty good stuff today. I got up, I made a batch of soap. I'm really happy about that. I'm going to post a video of that when it's all said and done tomorrow. And, I accomplished a lot. I got dressed today. I put on makeup. I got earrings, and so it was actually a good day energy-wise. But I found myself comparing me to who I was before I got sick. And I got to tell you that, like, I was a workaholic. I was the stay-at-home mom that cleaned the whole house. Like, everything was spotless all the time. And then I had my business on the side, my herbal business. I went to school when I was pregnant. I did my internship with a brand new baby. Oh, thank you, Tammy. I don't want to cry. I really appreciate that. I actually didn't come on until I'd had a moment of clarity, because I was like in such a ugly place, where you're just mean to yourself. And it's like, why? Where is this coming from? And like, how do we heal it, I guess, is the real question, right? So I was thinking of this earlier, like, why am I comparing myself to who I used to be? That's literally, I'm 34 now. I'm comparing myself to somebody in her early 20s and all the things she used to do after one child, not two, with a connective tissue disease, And even then, when I look back and I'm honest with myself, I was struggling. I was just better at pretending to be okay back then. I was not okay back then. This is a lifelong genetic condition that I've always had. I just got so good at ignoring, like, my pain, because people didn't really believe in it, And I trained myself to never give myself that compassion, because it wasn't given, it wasn't freely given. And so when I find myself struggling with, yes, you're right, Tammy, it is depression. But when I do find myself struggling in this place of like self-loathing, or not being kind to myself, or just even like a lower standard of self-love than I find acceptable, I have this practice now where if I'm saying something in my head and it's mean and I catch myself, I have to ask myself to pretend like I'm saying that to my daughter and imagine what her reaction would be. Because could you imagine if you said, my daughter is 5, okay? Could you imagine if you said to a 5-year-old, you're worthless, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're slow, you're lazy, you're fat, like all these things that we say to ourselves. And what we're doing there is really wounding our inner child, like, because you are that 5-year-old girl, you know, you are that child that was wounded so young, and that's why you're saying these things to yourself. So, like, how do we heal it? So the first step obviously is awareness. I became painfully aware of this today, and it sucked. But it's beautiful because now that I'm aware of it, I can start practicing in my head, saying the things that I would want to say to my daughter, right? Because I'm the example. I have to be the example for her. And it is not okay for me to run around the house talking about how lazy or stupid or fat that I am, because she sees everything. Every single move that I make, every word that I speak, every insult I hurl at my body and myself and my mind, my daughter is watching this. So healing takes practice, right? I have been through so much therapy and like neurofeedback and mindfulness. I've done spiritual retreats. I've done all these things to be mindful of these things. And still, I fall off, you know, I lose track. I end up in the ditch because that wagon is hard to stay on. You are trying to overcome a lifetime of programming, right? On a daily basis. Like every day you are trying to overcome it. And the longer you say those things to yourself, the more you have to overcome in the end. So I'm just putting it out there that if you are being mean to yourself today, if you are just not feeling yourself today, if you could just for a minute pretend like you as a child is standing in front of you and try and say those things, right? Would you say those things to a child? Because you are a child of the divine, of God, whatever you want to call it, and you don't have the right to insult a child of the divine, whether it's yourself or somebody else. So I just wanted to kind of come on here and bring awareness to that. Like, yeah, it's something that I'm dealing with myself personally. And so it's vulnerable and it's tangible and it's very visceral for me. But at the same time, I know I'm not the only one, right? Like, I know I'm not the only one feeling slobbish or lazy or, you know, just not whatever, you know, about myself. And so I'm challenging my viewers to be nice to yourselves, like to really be nice to yourselves. I always say, be kind to yourselves and each other. And I have to say that to myself too. I watch my own videos back so I can hear the nice words that I say, because I need that. Like, I need to hear those words. So I know I'm not the only one that needs to hear those words. And I know I'm not the only one that's mean to myself. And so I want to issue this as a challenge to put down the weapon of mass destruction that is comparison. Stop comparing yourself. If you're sick, stop comparing yourself to when you were healthy. If you are disabled, stop comparing yourself to able-bodied people. If you are, you know, older, stop comparing yourself to when you were younger. If you were thinner, stop comparing yourself. Stop comparing yourself to your neighbor, to your high school best friend, to your, you know, anybody. There's nobody on earth is as perfect as you are. And I don't mean that in a conceited way, not to go to your head, not to blow up your ego, but, you know, God, the divine, the creator, whatever you want to call it, makes no imperfect thing. And so for you to be unkind to yourself, I feel, is an egregious sin. And I'm working on it. I'm not coming from a place of piety and like holiness and perfection over here. I don't know what the heck I'm doing most of the time. I just catch myself occasionally and feel like, hey, I should say something about this, because it's clearly a problem for me. And if I tell you guys about it, it makes me more accountable for that. You know, then I'm more aware of it the next time, because I can't be here talking about be kind to yourselves, then I'm over here not being kind to myself. So I don't know. I put on some lipstick and I popped on because I was like, I know I'm not the only one feeling this way. So I'm going to read the chat now because I've been just yammer. So let's see. We've got Tammy. Oh, Tammy's giving me a hug. Yeah, depression. Hi, Jane. Hi, Jane. I'm happy you're here. Let's see. And Ellie, Leva, nice to see you guys. Thank you guys for coming. I really didn't have like anything, I never take notes or schedule anything, but occasionally I just feel so much like I need to come on and just be real with you guys. And like, I got to be real with you guys today. Like this morning I woke up and I was just not nice to myself. From like the first moment of the day, I was not nice to myself. I was like, I didn't drink water. I usually drink water in the mornings. I just drink my coffee. And then, yeah, I think it's hormonal, but I just felt like bloated and gross. You know how sometimes you just feel that way. And instead of like sitting with that and wondering where it came from, or like giving myself the grace of knowing that it might be hormonal, I just instantly started laying into myself about how gross I am. And that's not helpful. Like, it's really not helpful. So that's the challenge. You guys are like my viewers, my beautiful subscribers who I love so much. I am challenging you. Let's just try for one day. Let's just try for like 24 hours from today, right now, whatever time it is where you are, until tomorrow this time. You're only allowed to say nice things to yourself. So like if you want to do the challenge, let me know, because I have to reset my internal dialogue. I have got to stop saying these things to myself because it's just tearing me down. And if you're tired, right? Like I have a chronic illness. So if I'm tired and then I tell myself that I'm lazy, that's not going to motivate me to get up and do things. It's even if I do get the energy, I'm like, well, I'm lazy. I guess I could just stay in bed, instead of coming from a place of compassion and saying like, you know what? I have no gas in the tank today. Instead of getting up and forcing myself to do things that I shouldn't be doing, I'm going to stay in bed and I'm going to drink lots of water and I'm going to rest and I'm going to cherish my soul temple, or whatever you call your body. And that's not what I did today. Very human, not a guru, like totally not a guru. I am not perfect. I am not, I don't think I'm better than anybody else. I definitely don't know what I'm doing. I have no answers. I just know that like I need to practice this thing. I need to practice being kind to myself. Just like I always tell you guys to be kind to yourselves, and I feel like a hypocrite. So I wanted to come on and say, I know it's not always easy. Like, sorry. I know sometimes it's really hard to be with yourself, because when you're with yourself, all the things that you've heard throughout your life just play on repeat in your head. And when that happens, you get to this place where you just break your own heart over and over again. So I know it's not easy, but I hope that you guys know when I say that at the end of my videos, when I'm like, be kind to yourselves, I mean it, because the world is hard enough, right? Like home should be a sanctuary and you should be your own biggest supporter. Like you should really practice self-love, and it is a practice. It is a practice. Nobody does it perfectly the first time. You will slip down that mountain. You will say mean things to yourself. You will neglect your body. However, you can also forgive yourself. You can drink water. You can nourish yourself. You can do something just because you like it. You can sit in the sun for 5 minutes if that's all you can manage to do. You just have to find yourself a good, peaceful place on the inside and remember who you are, because comparing yourself to anything doesn't do you any good, and tearing yourself down, like, don't we see enough of that? Like there's so much of that out there. We don't need any of that. Let's see, I got some more chat here. You didn't do the dishes for 3 days. Couldn't stand up for so long, so you saved your energy to cook. You know what, Jane? I do that too. Like if I can't do the dishes or something, I'm so grateful because my husband does so much for me. But if I have the choice, like the choice is to do the dishes or play with my kids, you better believe me and my kids are going to be making slime until the wee hours, because life is too short, right? How many thousands, maybe millions of times do you do your dishes in your lifetime? Like, do the things that you love. If you love to cook, or to nourish your body, I think that was a fair trade. I'm so happy to hear that, Tammy. It is an exercise. You have to say those nice words over and over and over again until you believe it. And you can actually come to a place where you believe it, and then somewhere along the line, you like fall out of that place, right? And then before you know it, you're back to saying these mean things. So it really is a practice, and nobody is perfect at this. Like, nobody is perfect at self-love. Just like we're not perfect at loving each other, we're not perfect at loving ourselves, but we can try, right? So, oh, who's calling me Mama Bear? That's got to be somebody that knows me in real life. Hi there. Hi, somebody tracking much. Do I have a stalker? Let's see. You felt like a failure. You're not a failure, Jane. You're sick. I mean, you're sick, right? If you came to my house and you saw that I hadn't done the dishes for 3 days because I was too sick, would you tell me that I'm a failure? Mm-mm. So you don't get to say it to yourself either. That's the rules. You're not a failure. You're sick. Let's see. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. 5 minutes of self-care is better than 0 minutes of self-care. If you can't manage an hour, manage a minute. Amen. Amen. You know, today there was so much on the agenda that I wanted to do, and I'm in a much better place now than when I was really just bashing myself earlier. But I did make soap today, and I'm thrilled. Oh, am I stalking you? Well, I don't know who Hi Somebody Tracking Much is, so, you know, I can't really stalk you if I don't know who you are. Part of me is like, maybe you should actually be scared of this person. I was like, they call me Mama Bear. I know they know me from somewhere. They either know me from my Facebook or they know me from real life, so I'm not too worried. But anyway, I hope that there was like some insight in this rambling that I did, because I just felt like this really strong urge to come on and say something. You know, like, I understand the struggle. I mean those words that I say every time. I'm always like, be kind to yourselves and each other. And there's a reason that yourself comes first, right? Because old cliche adage, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? Well, you can't run on an empty tank. You can't shoot without bullets. That's what my grandpa would say. You can't shoot without bullets, so you got to reload, right? You got to sit down and rest and like cherish this body. You only get one this lifetime, depending on what you believe. You only get this one, right? So, like, for me with a chronic illness, I have trouble trusting in my body. But I realize that my body also has a lot of trouble trusting me, because I used to just push her to do everything all the time, no matter what. So now I'm coming to this place of healing where instead of pushing through my pain, when she says, sit down, please, I sit down. I don't wait for her to scream anymore, right? Or if she says, you know, I'm thirsty, then I'll take a drink of water right now. Self-care is important. It can make a huge difference. Okay, I missed a whole bunch. So Tammy said that she exercises nice words to herself every day, which I think is awesome, Tammy. I write them on my bathroom mirror. I'm so cheesy. I write on my bathroom mirror. It says, you are loved, you are precious, you are sacred, and you are blessed. I love you too. Let's see. Hi, somebody tracking much, anything worth doing. All right, I already read that one. Someone is stalking you. You're happy to see my beautiful face. Oh, thank you. You or I are not stalkers. Well, I'm glad neither one of us are stalkers. Although I do stalk Jane a little bit. I do like to stalk Jane. Oh, it's just water, but it has electrolytes in it. You have these Drip Drop brand electrolytes. When this goes to like the video and you can comment on it, I'll put the link. They're just, it's like potassium and magnesium and salt and stuff, because I have postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome and low blood pressure. As young women, we talk so sheezily to our bodies. I'm working toward having a sweet relationship with mine. It'll be a while before we trust ourselves and each other, but we'll get there. I believe that you will. I believe that I will too. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because like, I've trusted my body to bring 2 beautiful children into this world, but I don't trust her to stand up to cook dinner. Like, I mean, and to be fair, like a lot of it is that my body just doesn't trust me. I know I get signals before anything is actually wrong because I have in the past waited until something is screaming to like stop. But that was the big heavy conversation topic that I wanted to bring up today. Sorry my camera is so shaky. It's a little bit awkward. You guys are out in bed with me. That's what it is. But yeah, I wish we talked about it more. Because I remember growing up thinking that I was the only one that felt this way, right? And I don't know who here has daughters, if any of you have daughters, but or sons, anybody really. If you have children at all, I feel like it's our job to like model self-love, but I also think it's our job to make them aware that yeah, it's okay to occasionally not feel good about yourself. The key is to remember that it's temporary and that it passes and that it's not true. The things that you might say about yourself, not true, Um, viciously. Oh, instead of Sheasley, I thought maybe it was like UK slang or something. I just I just assumed you were foreign. I wasn't gonna say anything. Let's see. Our children are our strength. They see more than what we think we do. Yes, they do, Ellie. One of these days, probably not today because it's a little bit heavy for me to deal with at the moment. I've got to do it from a place of strength, but one of these days I will talk about my son's father and escaping that situation and what my child witnessed in that situation. One of the reasons I wanted to start a YouTube channel was to kind of be like I don't want to say to be an inspiration because I don't feel like I do that much that's inspiring, but just to like make people aware that there's other people experiencing the same thing or that have survived the same thing and that there is light at the end of the tunnel, even if that light just looks like this lady. But yeah, they do see so much more than we think that they do. Absolutely. And it matters. It matters. Like now, let's see, I've been married to my husband for 7 years, and all 7 of those years have been so peaceful. There has not been a single yelling, fighting, nothing, none of that. Nothing has ever been thrown. No insults have ever been hurled. No curse words, no name calling, none of that. I have such a peaceful, loving home now. And I don't think that I would have appreciated that quite as much had I not been through some of the things that I had gone through earlier in life. So I agree with that, Ellie. Our children are absolutely our strength, and they see everything. See, modeling self-love is a fairly new concept in parenting. Isn't it, though? It used to be like shame motivates or something. I don't know, the Catholic approach or... I mean, I'm sorry if you guys are Catholic. Everybody jokes about Catholic guilt, but it's true. I was raised Lutheran, which is like... It's basically Catholicism minus the saints. So we don't do the saints. But the guilt factor is really the biggest, drive that... guilt and fear. So be afraid of going to hell for sure. That's the biggest thing. But then also if you do something wrong or you fail at something, be very ashamed because that'll motivate you to do better next time. And that really just leaves a lot of super deep wounds. And I mean, I don't mean to say that I'm against the Catholic Church. I love the Catholic Church. I think that the rituals of the Catholic Church are beautiful. I have a lot of Catholic friends that I love very much, and this is just who I am. I joke with everybody, so. I am an inspiration, thank you. I do, it's so funny that everybody says that about me. So she says, you are an inspiration, you are so strong, Mama Bear. When you're ready, you'll tell your story. I am working on it. I've actually been writing a book for a little while now, and it's sort of like a memoir / poetry collection that I've been working on. And it's a lot of the things that I've been through. But there's a lot of beauty in it too. It's just a really hard book to write. And so I appreciate you saying that I'm an inspiration. I mean, if anything, I just hope that I inspire people to be their weird selves. Just do it. Life is too short not to be weird, right? But as far as who I am now is so different than who I used to be. And I've had people tell me that I'm a very peaceful person and that I'm a very loving, kind person, very tranquil or whatever. I've been called unshakable before, which I think is not. Ask my husband, I cry all the time. I'm so shakeable. But what is interesting to me is that the people that say that usually have no idea how much violence it took to become this peaceful. Like, I mean, if I told you what I've been through, a lot of people wouldn't believe it. And I wouldn't believe it had it not actually happened. So I've never really felt like telling a lot of my story because I never really wanted people to feel sorry for me. I always hated that. But now it's like people feel sorry for me anyway because I have like knee braces I have to wear and I'm using a wheelchair or crutches like all the time. So they feel sorry for me for a different reason. But I don't know what it is. Pity is like the worst. Oh, Jane, you're a ray of sunshine. Thank you. I do try to bring my light. My light is a little bit loud, but it's all love. There's no, I mean, I honestly don't ever remember feeling hatred I've been angry, I guess, a few times. So I don't know if anybody else here is like this, but like if I want to be mad at somebody, I have to like try really hard. And then because I have like brain fog issues, sometimes I forget. Like I try all the time to be mad at my husband. He'll do something that irks me and I'll decide I want to be mad. But then he'll like walk out of the room and then he'll come back later and I'll just be talking to him like I wasn't upset. And then I'll remember that I was supposed to be mad and like, oh, thank you, Tammy. I cherish you. I'm so glad that you're here, Tammy. You always say such nice things. I love having you here. Jesus was about love. A lot of people get confused when I say that I don't identify as Christian and think that I have something against the Bible. I do not. I love the Bible. There's so much beauty in it. There's so many messages of love and tolerance and patience and acceptance. I think it's beautiful. When I say that I don't identify as Christian, it's not that I don't have faith. I don't identify as Christian, which is acceptable. I mean, I guess it's not acceptable to some people, but that's not my problem. I mean, the Christians I know are all pretty tolerant and love me as I am. They stopped trying to convert me years ago, so I don't know if they gave up or what. Let's see. We love our husbands too much to stay mad at them. It's true, Ellie. And like, I try so hard. I don't try as hard as I used to, but I used to try so hard to stay mad at him, and then I would just forget. I'm not good at being angry. I also cry when I'm angry. Like, anger's not my thing. But yeah, everybody's shakeable. Yeah. Forged in the fire, for sure. Definitely. I mean, I feel like I remember watching this video once about like Japanese sword making, and they fold the steel like thousands of times to make it like super strong. And I feel like when we walk through our life and the traumas that we encounter is just our steel getting folded, we're just getting stronger. But I did for a while resent it when people would say, you're so strong, because I felt like I didn't do it for you. Like, I didn't do it for you. I had to make it through all that crap. Like, that's not what I did it for. But now, I've reached a point now where I accept it as this, I'm just glad I can help people. If that means being strong for you, or like having a shoulder for you to cry on, or like a wise word or whatever, then that's what I'll bring. But I used to feel really resentful when people were like, you're so strong, and be like, you have no idea. And I didn't feel strong. And I always thought that weakness was like the worst thing that you could be. Like, the worst thing you could be is weak. But I have definitely graduated from that school of thought. And I'm so glad, because the idea of, being vulnerable gets confused with being weak a lot. And I don't think that vulnerability is a weakness at all. I think it is beautiful. I think it's one of the most, courageous things you can do in your life, is to just be radically vulnerable, to just really let it all hang out. And I don't mean like make people the victim of your emotions. I mean, like, when you are feeling something, like to really feel it, or to talk about it instead of just shoving it way down in there and like trying to forget about it. What, the arm? Hi, Ali. I don't know how to say your last name, Ollie. Is it Ollie or Allie? But I don't know what the arm, this arm? I have arms. Okay, Tammy, no worries. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. I always forget to ask for those. So like if you guys could like my video. Oh, you already did. Cool. Have a good day, night, or whatever time it is where you are, Tammy. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate all the love you sent my way. It means so much to me. I can't even tell you. So, but yeah, I know a lot of times I come on here and I talk about like, I don't know, yarn and stuff. But today I just wanted to talk about the way that we hurt ourselves. You know, it's like such a destructive way of being when we're mean to ourselves. And I'm just really glad that we have the capacity and the ability to learn and to do better. I feel like I don't have a choice but to learn now, though, because when you have children, you know, if you can't model that for them, then we just create more damage to people. So it's communities like this that also like help, because when you are feeling a certain way, you can bring it here, and everybody sends you so much love. Oh, thank you, Tammy. I'm sure I'll see you again. I appreciate you coming in. It's always good to see you. Yeah. But that was, you know, that's what was heavy on my mind today, and I feel better having talked about it. I felt like it was something to bring up. I hope that you guys know, too, like, as my subscribers, you're my friends. So, like, if you ever need to, like, say something, you know? A lot of times I put my email in the description box of my videos. You are welcome to use that. You can reach out. I've actually had a few people reach out. I did have a lovely discussion with a gentleman about some spiritual matters, and it was really beautiful to know that I can reach people that way. And hopefully, you know, if there is something that you need, or even if you just, you know, want to talk, you're welcome to email me. Like, I'm not a stickler about my email. You can totally email me. Let's see. The golden rule was taught in every religion. It was. It made it into all of God's books. Absolutely. Every language, every corner of the world, and even the religions without books. That's the rule. There's one rule, you know? I know it's not for someone else. I'm not going to say I don't really need it anymore, because sometimes I forget that having a chronic illness is like a thing that I'm surviving. Like it's still like I'm still having an ordeal here, but it's so much less, you know, emotionally painful than a lot of the things that I've been through, that sometimes I feel like I don't need my strength, so I can share it with other people. But you're absolutely right. You know, I'm not obligated to share, but I want to share. I want to help people heal. I'm a healer. That's what I'm here for. You know, it wouldn't feel right. Like, I don't know how not to care about people. That's just not a thing that I do. So, but I do appreciate you giving me the permission to be strong for myself, because yeah, I do have to do that sometimes, especially on like bad days. Like when it was snowing, I had to be strong that day. And that's like a mental fortitude thing, like where you just have to remember that bad days don't last forever. So I guess I'm still using that strength from time to time. I'm more using a dark sense of humor to cope with everything. I don't know how healthy that is either, but it works for me. It's getting me through, right? But you guys, I just wanted to pop on and talk about that. So if you guys are going to do the challenge with me, let me know. Are you going to be nice to yourself for the next 24 hours? I have no watch. I don't know why I looked at my wrist. But from like this time today until this time tomorrow, I challenge you to only say kind things to yourself in your mind, in your heart, with your mouth. Like if you need to talk out loud, or if you write in your journal, whatever. I challenge you for the next 24 hours to only say nice things, kind things to yourself. And then the next time I do it, maybe I'll do a live tomorrow if I'm feeling up to it. You can tell me how it went. You know? You're going to try, Jane? That's awesome. I'm going to try too. I'm not, you know, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to tell you guys to be kind to yourselves, and then I'm going to be over here just beating myself up. So I hope I hope and pray that everybody that sees this, moving forward, even let's say that you see this 3 weeks from now, I challenge you for the next 24 hours to only say kind things to yourself, because that's something that has no expiration date. I think that you can do it. I believe in you. I believe in me. I think we can do it. Absolutely. And we're here to support each other. I think that's awesome. So, as you can tell, I'm running out of spoons. I always lose my voice when I start to run out of energy, so I'm going to have to get off before I start sounding like I smoked a pack of cigarettes. But I do really appreciate everybody coming here and just all the love that pours out every time anything even slightly negative happens and I talk about it. You guys are so amazing and supportive and loving and awesome. You guys just rock. You're awesome. You're going to try too, Ellie. Yay! So I'm not promising anything. If I don't do a live tomorrow, on my next live, we'll talk about this. Okay, so whenever that happens to be. But I am going to go before I lose my voice completely because I want to talk to my husband later. I got to, conserve it. So, I love you too, Jane. I will, sorry I didn't answer the phone when you called. Like, I've been kind of dealing with some voice stuff, so yes, we can do it. Take care. Stay safe. All right, you guys, be kind to yourselves and each other. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. And, remember that you are sacred, precious, beloved, cherished beings of infinite worth. And nobody could replace you. And I'm so glad that you're here. I can't wait to see you guys next time. All right. Take care. Bye. Very Capricorn. Okay, bye guys.